Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be talking about how to get cheap alternative accessories for the Walking Dead figures. Now, you could just get a ton of Walking Dead figures and use their accessories, but you don't get a lot of variety, and you also have to pay a lot for those accessories. Whereas here I'm going to show you guys how to get them real cheap and what really fits into scale with them here. Now, first, the best one that I've found so far is what comes with these figures here. These are Lonard Elite Core figures. They're really cheap and crappy. The figures themselves, they're not really worth playing with. I mean, give them to a kid, he'll fall in love with them, he'll have fun with them, and then he'll break them. But their weapons are really good. Let me show you here. This is a weapon that came with one of those Elite Core figures. And it's pretty good. It's nice and detailed. And then if I put it next to an actual Walking Dead weapon here, you'll notice it's in the same scale. As well as it's pretty detailed too. It's got like the same amount of detail on the top one there, which is the fake one, the cheap one, as the one that came with McFarlane. And of course, it may be a little more slim, but it's not too extremely slim. It fits in pretty well, I say. And then if you were to paint them, they would look really nice, which I will show you guys in a future video, how to paint them to make them look pretty, I suppose, Walking Dead-ish. So, not just the way that they do it, where they put a little bit of silver paint, but a little bit of detail is the way I'm going to show you guys. And then, here's another Lonard figure machine gun. It's got pretty good detail on it as well as fitting into the scale pretty well. And yeah, now of course most Walking Dead figures don't hold rifles too well, but if you want rifles for your figures, these are definitely a good way to get it. Their pistols, however, I don't believe fit into scale too well, especially since they don't actually tend to come with pistols, just because I guess they figured the kids would lose it too easily, and these are definitely based around a kid fan base. And these figures here, they make the weapons big so that kids won't lose them. That's why what doesn't really match into scale with them matches into scale pretty well with the Walking Dead figures. And then you can tell over here, Rick has a machine gun that I gave him here. That's actually from the Lonard as well. Now, you kind of have to be careful with the barrel. That happens, starts getting a little stressed if you store it wrong, but it looks nice. It's got a nice scope. It's a nice rifle look. I'm not sure if it's actually based off of a realistic rifle, but it looks like it could be, and I think that's all that matters. But this is a really big gun here compared to a regular Walking Dead gun here. This is the one that came with Eugene. Yeah, on the bottom. Very nice. Yes, and of course I will show you guys how I'm going to paint those and change them up, make them look very realistic. And that'll be fun. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, now another way, these figures tend to go for, I think it's like $3 for one figure, and he'll come with like 2 guns or something like that. And then you can get like 3 figures for $6, and they come with like a gun each or 2 guns each, depending on what you get, or a set for like 10 or 20 bucks, 15 bucks. So they're pretty well priced for that, and it is a cheaper way to get these guns. However, there are other ways to get weapons that sort of match into scale, which are really cheaper. But first, if you ever bought a G.I. Joe figure, make sure to see how your guns fit in with The Walking Dead, because G.I. Joe weapons are actually a little oversized for them sometimes, and it fits into scale with The Walking Dead action figures. Like, take a look here. See this knife? This came with a G.I. Joe, and this is bigger than the Daryl knife that we got. That knife that came with Daryl was extremely tiny and flimsy. This, solid, doesn't break, and looks real nice. Yeah. So this is really what I like to use with my Walking Dead figures, this knife here. Because that looks a lot better than Daryl's flimsy, flim-flammy knife. Especially the Governor's knife, that was extremely tiny. And then here with Glenn, I gave him a tomahawk from a G.I. Joe. These are actually newer G.I. Joe weapons, but the older G.I. Joe weapons also work. Like, here's one from like early 2000 2001 or something, is pretty big and it fits into scale pretty well with them. However, I'm not going to like recommend this one because it doesn't look very realistic like at all, and it doesn't even really match up all that well compared to this Elite Corps figures gun. See that? Yeah, so I wouldn't suggest that one, but there are G.I. Joe 90s figures that came with pretty good weapons for these Walking Dead figures. Like, take a look here. This sword came with like a ninja from the 90s, and it fits into scale pretty well with them, I think. So just paint that up, it'll look pretty realistic, and you can stick it into a background character's hand, and no one will know the diff. And then here's a torch that came with an Indiana Jones figure. I believe it was Sala. So this is just an example of how other little figures can have accessories that you can stick with the Walking Dead. Okay, let's pull out some other alternatives here. These I still haven't packaged. I just got these guys at the Dollar Tree. These are extremely cheap, and their weapons aren't like the best or most detailed, but there are ways that you can make them look pretty good. And I'm going to open this up and take a look at what's inside. Of course, these are so cheap they can't like display any pictures of other figures. They don't really have any detail to anything here, and then the figure inside is just crap. But for $1, to get accessories you can stick with Walking Dead, that's not horrible. Let me grab some scissors here, make it easy for me to open. Choppy choppy. Okay. So, I've got this one, and then another one, and then a different version. Okay, so here's his weapons. The figure is horrible crap. He's hollow. I'll probably burn this guy and have a hell of a lot of fun showing it. Maybe I'll show you guys a destruction video where I destroy some cheap figures, and yeah, I'll have a day of that. Okay. Now, the guns, they vary, and you'd probably have to modify them to make them fit in with the Walking Dead pretty well, but this is a way to get accessories that would kind of work with them. Now, first off, let's take a look at the boat. It's rather solid, but I don't think this would really fit into scale with the Walking Dead, but let's see if we can stick a guy in there anyway. Let me get a super articulated figure, and yeah, it's just not going to happen. So the boat, not so much. However, the oar does seem to be pretty big, and yeah, you could fit the oar with the figures. I don't know why you would really want an oar, but if you're making a custom boat for the Walking Dead, this oar would definitely work for it. Yeah, and then you could paint up the oar, make it look like it's wood. And of course, it's made out of a very shiny plastic, so you'd have to sand it down and make it a little more easy to have the paint cling to it. But yeah, that works well, I suppose. And then here's one of their other weapons, which, yeah, its detail is not all there, but again, this is a cheap way to get a figure's weapon. If you just want a bunch of weapons to like hang above them or make a little armory for the Walking Dead figures, this is a good way to do it. And of course, the weapon doesn't look like it'll fit into anyone's hands all that easily. But let me grab a figure here. Rick's always got the best gun-posed hands, so let's see how he can hold it. Hey. Gravy. There we go. Okay, so his hand does fit on it, and it's pretty much in scale, I would say, but the question is, does that look realistic enough to the point where you would actually bother buying it? That highly depends on what you want for your little collection. I think it looks pretty nice. Like, once I paint this, it'll look good enough to stick with at least this one, right? You can sort of fit it in, and then there's ways to modify its grip. As for the other weapons here, this one's pretty cool. It's actually based off of a real weapon. I'm not sure if this one is. I'm not sure if there's a gun that looks like that, really. There must be, because that's basically what that one looks like. Okay. And this one here, of course, they're rather thin because they don't want to waste plastic, but yeah, it fits into his hand fairly easily. It's too big, so you'd have to like sand down the grip, but other than that, yeah, it looks rather nice. It's not hyper detailed or anything, but it would fit in with your figures. And then it comes with a shotgun, which is way out of scale with the way the handle is, but otherwise than that, it looks fair. What I'm going to do with this one is probably chop down some of the handles so that he can hold that, because I'm not even going to bother trying to fit that into anyone's hands. Look how thick that is. Yeah, but in my next video, make sure to stick around for that. I'm going to make these weapons look really dope. Make them look like they could fit in with them. Yeah, so as for this first set here with the boat, the ore is good. I think this is good. This is the best weapon that we get in it. As for the shotgun, definitely needs modifications. Okay. Now, we've got a second set here, which I got because it comes with this Riot Shield. That's pretty cool to me. The rest of the stuff, you know, it's okay, but let's see how that works out. Let me slice it open. Now, these are definitely like the cheapest alternative ways to get weapons right here, because this is $1, and if this actually fits into scale well, that's pretty cool enough, right? Yeesh. Okie doke. Get that out of the way. Move the figures out of the way here. Okay. Now as for what comes with this set, quite a bit actually. Let's take a look. Of course, the figure is horrible and definitely needs to be burned. Just, you know, right off. Now the shield looks really nice. Just look at that. Now let me see if I can see what our old shield looked like. Wait, there's a shield that comes with a Glenn figure. Let me see if I have that here. Again, I probably should have gotten that ready before I did the episode, but I wasn't thinking about it. Here it is. Okay, so, I mean, it looks nothing like this shield, but this does look more like a Riot Gear shield that I've seen. Riot type shield. I've seen these before, not so much these, but I have seen these. But as you can see, the detail on the Walking Dead one is ridiculously awesome, and then this one definitely needs paint because it's just gray, flat plastic, but as for adding detail, there's no real sculpt that it's missing that you would need to add. I think it looks pretty good. Yeah. Let's put that in someone's hand here, see how that works out. I would say, yes, it fares pretty well. Take a look there. You could definitely imagine someone using it. Let me grab someone with Riot Gear. We have tons of figures that came with Riot Gear, so it shouldn't be too hard, right? Where are you, Eugene? I'm sorry I put down your deer, please. Okay, whatever. Here's a figure that's wearing Riot Gear. It's the Jesus action figure. Paul Monroe. That's how I prefer to call him. Jeez. His hands aren't made for holding stuff too well, but take a look there. He can definitely hold the Riot Gear. And in a defense pose as well, let's see. Yeah. So yeah, this Riot Gear is actually cool. That's why I bought this set right here, because that Riot Gear, or Riot Shield, I guess, looks really nice. Here we go. Here's a better figure for holding that. The Eugene. As much as I put down Eugene figure for having Riot Gear, I gotta say, at least it's got something going for him, right? I mean, he could just be a guy in regular clothing, which would actually be what I'd prefer. I don't know. But yeah, look, see, you can hold it off to the side there, and once I paint that up, maybe I'll put it with him, because that looks pretty cool. What do you guys think there? Okay, set him to the side, and let's look at what came here also. We have a bullhorn, or something like that. This is so that you could communicate with someone, I guess, who's... This is like what cops use to say, get out of your house and leave your hands up. It's hollow on the inside like it's supposed to be, and then it's got that. Actually, pretty good detail. I can imagine them using that. The only problem is Walking Dead figures can't really bring stuff up to their face. So it's just going to be like, I'm yelling right here, but if you look over here, it looks like that wouldn't work at all. Let me grab a figure that I own that probably has better articulation for that. Here we go. bullhorn here. Step out of your house in your underwear and laugh. Laugh! Dang it! See, he used to be a cop, so he knows exactly what to do. Yeah, that looks cool. Okay, this is definitely a good piece right here. I'd say this set, if you see this at your Dollar Tree, it's actually pretty good for The Walking Dead. And I think I'll paint these up as well. And then we have this here. It comes with some sort of weird machine gun setup, which probably wouldn't work with The Walking Dead because it doesn't look very realistic, but I don't know, if you're someone who doesn't really care about the realism, it's kind of nice. It's got two hinged little stand pieces here. It's got the machine gun mount on top, twists at the base, and then moves up and down here. This set right here for $1, I'd say this is definitely worth it. And then it comes with this ram here, which I believe the SWAT people use that to smash into houses when someone won't open up. Yeah, they like have one guy on one side holding it and the guy on the other and going bam, bam. And that fits into scale perfectly with them. Of course, I don't know why you would need that. I mean, Walking Dead figures don't really use that, so that part is more or less just meh. Now, let's see how someone stands to this. It's small. Doesn't really work with them. If you had them, like, sitting in a chair... Here we go. I'm going to create an awesome scene here. Actually, I really like this part for some reason. I'm going to paint this up for my own personal diorama use. Not that they'd ever use something like this in The Walking Dead, but just because it's really cool. I don't know, for $1, I definitely see this set as being worth it. The previous one, not so much, but this one, definitely. Look at that. How often do you see Daryl sitting in a lawn chair, shooting a machine gun on someone's table? Look at that. Isn't that just magnificent? Yeah, and once it's painted up, it actually would look pretty nice. So that right there is the best alternative one I've shown so far, that's the cheapest as well. Okay, let's move some of this crap out of the way, and let's move onward. Okay, the final package... Oh, no, wait. I've also got this here I'd like to show you guys. It's a G.I. Joe set. I'm not going to open this one just because it's my brother's, but I'd like to show you guys. It comes with 2 grenades. See that right there? And those grenades would fit perfectly with a Rick figure. And if you remember, the first series Rick came with a grenade, which he used in the first season. And we haven't gotten that figure's grenade with any other set at all. So that grenade is the rarest little accessory, but if you can't afford to get those, you can just easily swap out and use this, because these figures are cheap. They're G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero collection. This is Big Ben and Whiteout. But this, yeah, this probably you could get for $5, maybe $5 shipping or something like that, and then you get those grenades, which you'd probably end up paying a lot less than if you tried to get that legitimate set with Rick and all. But then here we have... Yeah, this guy will be familiar if you are a fan of Mr. Evil Cheese, but I like his accessory right here. It comes with a folding chair. Now, this isn't a weapon accessory, but this is an accessory. And of course, this is an extremely cheap figure, just like the previous ones, but yeah, not bad. And then some people have actually used this guy with their Walking Dead figures just because he's actually about their size. The only problem I have with that is his cartoony look. I just couldn't use him. I'd have to like resculpt and repaint the crap out of him to feel like I could use him with The Walking Dead, but use him in Mr. Evil Cheese way, I will, because that is really cool. Anyway, moving on to the chair. We get a nice folding chair, and it's a working folding chair. It works a lot better, I gotta tell you, than the actual one that we got with Dale, because this one doesn't want to stay together. It just falls apart. See that? Oh, gravy. I feel like I could break it just by putting something together wrong. There we go. Now see how this folding chair works, and it won't stay together? This folding chair does its job. Pulls out. It actually looks like a real folding chair, too. Not that the other one didn't, but considering this is something that you could get for $1 at the Dollar Tree, it's pretty sweet. And then here's the figure that it came with sitting on it, which is boring and crap, but here's a Walking Dead figure sitting on it, and as you can see, fits into scale. Oh yeah, that's some real comfort right there. He can sit there with a beer or something, enjoying life, which, I don't know, doesn't seem like Daryl enjoys life too much, does it? Let's hope that he doesn't enjoy it to the point, he enjoys it enough to the point where he won't just up and die on us. Anyway, this is a really nice chair, and you could use it in a wrestling scene where I suppose he's decided to smack down Glenn with his chair. Just a second, that's my phone. Gotta hang up on that. Okay, well, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure to check out my other videos. Make sure to stick around for the painting, and I will see you guys in the next video.